Right, I want to introduce you to how to move a frog, but I want to introduce you to how to move that frog ethically. Now that seems a little unusual thing to say, and if you're a teacher watching this, just trust me, this is going to make sense to you in a moment. So the thing is, I want to create a frog that's going to jump across the screen. And what I'm going to do first of all is check out to see if I've got a frog in my library. Let's have a look. It's not looking well. In fact, let's go to animals first of all, and we'll find that I do have a frog, but it's kind of like looking at it face on. And what I really want is like looking down on a frog. So I want like an aerial shot of a frog. So we haven't got one. So ethically, how can we get a frog? Well, we can go to Google, and you'll notice I've just Googled for frog, and they're just pictures of frogs. But I want to use an image that is copyright free. If I were to make a Scratch game then heavily promoted and I'm using someone else's graphics, they might get very cross with me. In fact, it's against the law. I'm not going to get cross with you. It's against the law. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come to Advanced Search, and we're going to go to my settings here and go to Advanced Search. And this is where I'm going to be ethical now, in that I'm going to go to Usage Rights, and I'm going to go to Free to Use or Share. Click on Advanced Search, and I've got normal frogs here, but I've done this before earlier on. If I scroll down, where's he gone? There was a one, there it is. Look at this fantastic aerial view of a frog. It would be perfect for my game. So I'm just going to select it. That's fantastic. It's even got a PNG background, so it might even go in without having to rip the background out. We'll see what happens. I'm going to right click. I'm going to save the image as even, and we're going to head off to, I'm on my top down racer there, oops, into Frogger, and I'm going to put here frog. I'm going to press save. And we'll pop back into Scratch. Looks like that's happened now, so that looks good. We'll pop back into Scratch, and instead of painting a new sprite or choosing from the library, I mean, my art is terrible. You don't want to see me draw a frog, that's for sure. I could now import one, and I haven't been a naughty boy, so I'll just double click there because that's ethically allowed. Now, unfortunately, my frog is enormous. So, okay, we'll come back to how we can choose the size of frog in a moment. But also you notice that I haven't got, well, in fact, actually, let's do our first tool. Let's shrink it down. All I'm going to do is just use this tool, and that lets me shrink my frog down and keep going. Now, you might argue that this frog, when put there, is a little bit difficult to see. So although we've brought the frog in, we could, in fact, go to our costumes of the frog, and see if we can zoom out a little bit here, and we could perhaps take a paint bucket, take up a really bright colour green like that. That makes my frog a little bit easier to see. In fact, actually, I could probably, if I really wanted to, fill that little bit of white in there, and now doesn't really make much difference, does it? But I feel happier for some reason. So, that's how I've managed to get a frog in there. If you want to draw one yourself, or if you want to rip someone else's graphic without permission, or if you want to, no, you don't want to use that other frog from the library. That's what you want. Okay? So, that's our first thing. Now, let's make the frog move. Now, first of all, we're just going to focus on making the frog move. And something you're going to learn about these videos is that I'm not going to do everything for you. In fact, I'm going to introduce you to the X and Y axes, and then I'm going to introduce you to a couple of little blocks that you can glue. By the way, look at these blocks. You just drag them, and they glue together like so. And there's loads of them. There's all purple ones, and there's stops, we don't want that one, and there's blue ones which we can glue together, but we'll have the things that we can drag and drop. So for example, I'm in control now. If I am in sensing, I can glue things in there, and I can take, anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to move these into the middle now, and that gets rid of all of them. What I'm interested in is the fact that if I want my frog to go up, it needs to increase the value of the Y position. Okay? Now if you think about this logically, we know that the Y value in total is 360 pixels. We learnt that in the last video. If I want the frog to jump forward into the middle of those lanes, then I need to increase the Y value from here by 36 each time. And if I want the frog to go backwards, I would need to decrease the Y value by 36. If I want the frogs to go left and right, if I wanted to go right, let's start from here, I would need to increase the X value, and I would strongly advise you to do that by 36 as well. And if I want it to go to the left, I need to decrease the X value. So, how do we do this? Well, the way we do it is this. We're going to use events. In the old version of Scratch, there was only one orange colour, and they've now broken it into two. I'm going to go to events, and we have this jigsaw piece here. Look at this, I've got an up arrow. And I can have more than one. I can have one here, maybe I could have a down arrow. And I could have a left and a right arrow. And if we go to motion, I have the ability to change my X value and change my Y value. So if I want to go up, we now need to change the Y value, and we'll give you a clue here, by 36. And now, when I just press my up arrow, my frog jumps, look at that, perfectly. It doesn't do anything on the down arrow, or the left arrow, or the right arrow. So that's your task. The first thing that we want you to do is get that frog to move up, down, left and right. Off you go.